Top stories this week on the WINN Weekender. Escapee shot and killed during struggle with police officers. Businessman worried that roadworks along the Frigate Bay Road will have a major impact on his business. And bank chairman confronts Team Unity protesters. I'm Tony Frederick. Welcome to another edition of the WINN Weekender, a comprehensive recap of the major stories that made the news this past week. Police have issued a statement on the shooting death of 43-year-old Glenford Douglas, formerly of Sadler's and a resident of Buckley's. Mr. Douglas escaped police custody and, according to police reports, was located in the Whitegate area and died during a struggle with a police officer. More in this Clive Backus report.
The police statement said, quote, "The subject escaped custody from the St. Paul's police station and was located in the Whitegate area. While attempting to take the subject into custody, he made 2 attempts to disarm the officer." End of quote. Police said in the second attempt to disarm the officer, the firearm discharged and Mr. Douglas received a fatal wound to his chest. The report added that the officer, who received injuries trying to hold onto his weapon during the struggle, received medical treatment for his injuries. The escaped prisoner, the police said, succumbed to his injury at the scene. Mr. Douglas's death sparked accusations of police brutality and calls for a thorough investigation into the shooting.
Police brutality, how you think it's more? Should we 4 people? Nobody looking towards us. Because people getting bang off, mister, for a little marijuana spliff, box off, gun butt in the face, slap, kick. I'm telling you, police brutality, how you think it's more? Should the poor people may have nothing? They don't get bang off, get a little lock up, and come out and feel like, yeah, everything cool.
Police Inspector Lyndon David denied the charges in an interview on Voices.
Well, I must first say that when it comes to the issue of police brutality, we in the police force, we do not engage in those form of activities. Any officer whose name being brought up as to say they would have done something wrong, the matter will be investigated and the appropriate actions will be taken according to the investigations. But when we look at it from our standpoint, police brutality, that is not happening from our viewpoint.
He also urged members of the public to report any incident to the police high command. Former Commissioner of Police Catherine Foy called into Voices and urged the public to support the force as it seeks to maintain law and order.
Owing to the fact that there is a likelihood that there will be a coroner's inquisition and you will be choosing jury from members of our society, one cannot go and speculate. We should be sympathizing, one, with the relatives of that deceased, and 2, the police who involved, because the police will need counseling, and by extension, maybe the whole force, because from this incident, anything could be triggered off. So I am just asking the public to be sensitive. You cannot go around passing aspersion and innuendos and things like that.
Asked about the issue of inquests, Inspector David said that decision is made by the Director of Public Prosecutions.
When it comes to inquest, we are not the ones to make the decision. We carry out investigations and submit the file to the DPP's office, and the decision will be made there. Once it's done our investigation and send it off, we have nothing else to do with it.
In recent months, WINN FM 98.9 has received both commendations and complaints about specific officers in the force, including calls from the family of Trevor Douglas, who was shot dead by police in March 2013, for more information about his death. Media reports indicate that the 34-year-old Douglas was shot while fleeing the scene after smashing the windows and windscreen of a vehicle parked on Victoria Road. Police have stated that a report was submitted to the DPP's office.
Opposition Team Unity continued protest action this past week, picketing the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, the workplace of Speaker of the National Assembly Curtis Martin. But one of those protests took a different turn one day this past week, involving the chairman of the bank, Lincoln Maynard. More from WINN FM's Ken Richards.
Bank Chairman Lincoln Maynard is contending that his actions in relation to the Team Unity protesters have been misrepresented. He reports having been heckled by some of the demonstrators on the steps of the bank as he went in as part of his standard practice to carry out some financial transaction or speak to a senior member of the bank.
As I approached, there were some people with pickets
standing on the step of the bank, and they proceeded to shout at me as I passed to get into the bank.
Call the motion, Mr. Chairman. Call the motion.
I proceeded into the bank to do my business. Then I came back out of the bank because one of the security officers called me and told me that there were protesters on the steps who were refusing to remove themselves so that customers could get into the bank.
The bank chairman says that is what his conversation with two of the protesters was about.
I walked out onto the step as I was leaving, and I told two gentlemen, Dr. Timothy Harris and Mr. Lindsey Grant, I asked them if they can just step aside so that customers and clients of the bank can use the bank properly and can get in and out of the bank. Then they started to shout again, the same refrain, and I proceeded back into the bank. And about 5 minutes later, I walked out of the bank and went about my business.
Lincoln Maynard denies having tried to prevent the protesters from sheltering from the rain on the premises of the National Bank, as has been alleged by demonstrator Alicia Powell.
No, absolutely not. Totally outrageous.
But you are aware that the protest is targeting one of the bank's employees, the Speaker of the House, Curtis Martin. How do you feel about this as chairman of the bank?
I am not going to become involved in the politics as chairman of the bank. I am concerned that the customers of the bank, the clients of the bank, have free access to our facility so that our business is not impeded. But the bank is not going to be drawn into the politics.
But how do you respond to their suggestion that they too are clients of the bank? They have their accounts in there.
We have a lot of clients. We have a lot of customers. And I suspect that there would be customers of the bank as well. But I don't see how that has anything to do with this.
Team Unity leader Timothy Harris told WINN FM Tuesday that the picket was not aimed at the bank, but specifically at one of the financial institution's employees, Speaker of Parliament Curtis Martin. I'm Ken Richards for WINN Weekender.
Still to come on the WINN Weekender, businessmen worried that roadworks along the Frigate Bay Road will have a major impact on his business.
I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it all, blue and gold. Real Caribbean beer.
What's for lunch, Mom? I'm hungry.
Would you get out of the pot?
It's just what our home needed.
¿Puedes dejar de trastear? ¿A la izquierda? No. Mucho.
Honey, could you pass me the bread, please?
At Courts, every day we bring affordability, convenience, innovation, and style to over 1 million customers in 11 countries. From homes to communities, we are proud to make a difference in the lives of many across the region. Courts, bringing value home.
When it comes to building materials, hardware items, and home improvement supplies, if you want it, Portsmouth Building Center has got it, right, Mr. World?
That's what we got the hardware. Yes, we got the hardware. Tools, we got it. Lumber, we got it. Cement, we got it. We got it. Steel, we got it. Paint, we got it. With prices, we got it. We got it. That's what we got the hardware. Yes, we got the hardware.
For the best prices and best quality on all your home renovation and building material needs and more at Portsmouth Building Center.
We got it.
Welcome back. The closure Monday morning of the Basseterre Road lane of the Frigate Bay Road at the Bird Rock intersection was not just a major headache for motorists, but has left a gas station owner deeply concerned about his business. Owner of F&H Frisco gas station, Sylvester Fraser, is worried about the hit to his business now that motorists are unable to access the station from Frigate Bay, the Kim Collins Highway, and from Bird Rock. More in this report. I'm at F&H Frisco gas station on the Frigate Bay Road, where traffic has been reduced to a single lane running out of Basseterre due to ongoing roadworks in the area. Gas station owner Mr. Sylvester Fraser has been expressing some concern about the effect of the roadworks on his business. We can see that the traffic, they've got flagmen and workmen directing traffic around. Traffic coming from Frigate Bay, the Kim Collins Highway, Bird Rock cannot turn into his gas station at this time. The Director of Public Works has said that that work should end by the end of this week, and both the engineer and the director have said that they will do everything they can to ensure that the road work does not end up in your access to your property being totally blocked. But there has been a development that now has Mr. Fraser understanding that there may be a permanent effect on his business. Now, Mr. Fraser, you have been visited by the Director of Public Works. I also understand now that an engineer has also paid you a visit.
Yes, Sony, I've been visited by one of the engineers from Public Works who apologized for not informing me before as to what was going to take place here. As I said, we have reduced to a single lane going out of Basseterre to Frigate Bay. My concern is when it is finished, what is going to happen in terms of getting from Basseterre into the gas station, which means I want to know if you're going to be able to turn right into the gas station. That is my concern right now.
No, you were made to understand that what will happen when this is all finished is that persons traveling on the Frigate Bay Road approaching your gas station will be required to turn off to the left and go around a roundabout, the new roundabout there at the junction of the Kim Collins Highway, and then double back. Is that correct?
That's what I'm hearing on the road.
So was the engineer able to clarify this to you?
He wasn't able to clarify it. He said he will get back to me concerning that.
What do you think can possibly be done here in front of your gas station?
I'm not an engineer, but from a layman's point of view, I'm thinking there should be a turning lane. So you want to turn into the gas station, you pick up a turning lane, let the traffic flow on the left, as traffic is not going to do, continue on the roundabout. If you're coming from out of the roundabout, you continue on your left. When the traffic is clear, you turn in. It's just like it's happening now. You wait to make a right turn into the gas station. But you're telling me that the guy is going to have to pass the gas station, go into the roundabout, turn around the roundabout, and then come back into the gas station. That to me is like a little jigsaw puzzle. It will affect the business. I'm hoping that the authorities will consider it and do something which would help us.
We too will be following up with the Public Works Department about what this eventual plan is for the flow of traffic on the Frigate Bay Road as it approaches this new roundabout. At least one parent is calling for prompt action to address the health problems affecting students and teachers at the Basseterre High School, and says the situation is proving costly for him. We have more in this report.
Neerish Nittal told WINN FM's The Bigger Picture that he was convinced that the source of his daughter's illness was the Basseterre High School, despite the skepticism being expressed by the Ministry of Education and the country's chief medical officer.
She's going through what she has to go through. I'm spending my money on her. I've spent close to $3,000 already. Because you see, once you have been impacted by those mycotoxins from the spores, then it will take a while, it will take its course, and you just got to continue treatment. She feels very adamant about attending school because that is the school that she loves. There is no way I'm going to take her from there. I just want the situation to be mitigated to an extent that it doesn't impact her too much. I know in the long run it might be a problem for us all, but in the meantime, she's in fourth form. She has another year or two there.
One affected teacher has gone on the record on social network expressing the view that while Basseterre High was repainted and some work done there, that doesn't negate the fact that more persons are becoming ill. She says teachers and students alike are breaking out in rashes, and she has posted a photo to support that position. Meanwhile, dermatologist Thelma Philip Brown, who the authorities appear to be accusing of politicizing the issue, insists that there is urgent need to tackle the problem head-on. She believes fungal spores are responsible for the rash of symptoms being experienced by students and teachers alike.
The illnesses, let me say, first you get allergy problems, and these are people who already have hypersensitive immune systems, and they're respiratory in terms of maybe some shortness of breath, maybe some coughing, maybe some tightness in the chest, and asthma. Now, those things can be caused by other things. And so it is really a careful history, index of suspicion, and so forth, which would make you think then, okay? Then you have, if the spores are in large enough numbers and depend on the type of spore, they can release what you call mycotoxins, and that's where you might get the itching and burning around your lips and so forth. And then long term, you get different effects, and that would depend on what the fungus is, because the fungus can eventually invade the body. And you don't want to panic people, but at the same time, this is a reality, and more people are coming to realize that they are an issue. Now, once they invade, they can weaken the immune system, which making you prone to other things.
Dr. Brown also gave an example of one student patient whose rashes gave a cause for concern.
But then I saw, I think it was about 2 weeks later, and she had these rashes in her head, looked like fungus. That caused me a little bit of consternation, because whereas I see lots of children in primary school age with fungi in the scalp, you hardly ever see it in children of secondary school age or adults. Even if the fungus is there, usually the system is such at that level that you don't see any manifestation of it. And so that's when I went more into depth now, thinking, well, what could be affecting this child's immune system? And then discovered that she would get, over the past years, she had been having problems. And that when she was away from school, like during vacation and so forth, she would be better.
School principal Colin Henry Morton has admitted to being concerned about the situation at her school.
I am not a medical professional. I'm not in the field of medicine, but I'm a bit concerned that we have clusters of students and teachers who are complaining about basically the same things. And I think that would raise an eyebrow in just about any institution. We have teachers who are complaining of itching, burning, stinging. Some have sores in the mouth. We also have manifestations on the skin, red rashes, welts, that type of thing. You have people complaining of nausea, vertigo, lightheadedness, dizziness.
I'm Ken Richards for WINN Weekender.
Meanwhile, an English teacher at the Basseterre High School, Jennifer Williams, who has taught there for 25 years, says enough is enough. Assurances from the Ministries of Education and Health that there are no health risks at the high school are not sitting well with her.
What really caused me to post my pictures on Facebook is the fact that after we had a meeting on Tuesday, the minister came on the air on the Wednesday, and without even coming to the school, making a phone call to the management of the school, or even Mr. Collins, the president of the SKTU, laid claims that teachers were being pressured by the management of the school to write letters claiming that they're ill. He further castigated Dr. Thelma Philip Brown, who is a medical practitioner and also a dermatologist, saying that her findings are erroneous and baseless, even without coming to the school, and I stress that again.
She shared her personal experience with skin problems in an interview with WINN FM on Monday, during which she emphasized that she was not speaking on behalf of other teachers or the teachers' union.
They could say what they want. They are not up here. They are not experiencing what we are going through. And enough is just enough. They don't come to the school. They don't want to know really what is going on. And I've just had enough. So that is why I made that decision to post my pics so persons could see how I am being affected. I have been to 2 doctors, and Dr. Holness, I had consultation with Dr. Joy. Huggins.
The other dermatologist.
The other dermatologist. It seems as though we can't go to who we normally go to, so I've gone to someone else. Now, I haven't gotten anything in writing as yet, and I've promised the president of the PTA, since that is the way they want us to go, to get my medical reports.
So you will be submitting?
Yes, I will. Pics and the reports.
International Women's Day was observed in St. Kitts and Nevis on Friday with a march through the streets of Basseterre on the eve of the occasion. WINN TV took to the streets Friday and covered the event. I'm in the middle of a women's parade on the eve of International Women's Day. Friday afternoon, winding its way through the streets of downtown Basseterre. I'm with psychologist Naima Hazel. How does a march boost women? How does it inspire women?
Well, I think it's important, especially in our society, that we would see women together. As a Caribbean society, generally women are encouraged to be separated, and there's a lot of division. So it's important to see women from all walks of life, all political parties, all classes, all groups, all colors, all cultures, here together inspiring each other. The theme is inspiring our women, and psychologically it inspires us to know that we're not by ourselves. In our struggles through life, with family, with employment, and the challenges that women meet. So I think the importance of it psychologically is to show the solidarity of women, and that even though sometimes we feel like we're very alone, we're very strong and we're much better when we're united.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we're bouncing up on the CARICOM Youth Ambassador, Sonia Body, right in the middle of this. Tell me why this is such an important event for youth and young women in particular.
I think it's a brilliant idea that we are having this march this afternoon, to certainly, as our theme is, to inspire our women. And I think a lot of persons, when they look at us coming out here, we're taking a bold step, and it builds the self-confidence in women. And we just had a song saying, no, women are going to run this country. And I'm glad that they played that song several times, because we want to reinforce to our women that we have the capacity to lead and to undertake leadership roles. So I'm very happy to be a part this afternoon, and I want to encourage other young persons to get on board and to show that women, we are strong and we are powerful.
So in the middle of this parade, hundreds and hundreds strong women wearing t-shirts emblazoned with the International Women's Day logo on the front. The theme for International Women's Day on the back, inspiring our women. Their posters and banners with empowering messages. Engage in meaningful family time with your children. Empowering our women is the right thing to do. Protect our children. Lead healthy lifestyles. And I've just spotted the Minister of Gender Affairs, Marcella Liebert. Let's see if we can catch up with her.
It's about time women come out and have their issues in. I'm really impressed with the turnout, because we're a little skeptical, but I'm sure the message is getting through.
There's some very little women here today, some younger ones, some teenagers, adults, young adults, and some of us who have been around a bit longer. It's an almost church-like atmosphere this afternoon through the streets of Basseterre. It has a gospel feel to it. Women are dancing and waving their hands in the air. It feels celebratory. The streets of Basseterre are lined with onlookers. All of the two-story buildings in downtown, there are people hanging over the balconies and out the windows to catch sight of the Women's Empowerment March. Heading the march is a float designed to look like a castle, supposed to depict the strength of women. They look like castle walls made of stone. In the front of them, two huge palm trees. It's a Caribbean castle, Caribbean strength, Caribbean protection for women. If you had one thing to tell young girls that you wish you knew, one thing you don't know that you wish you knew when you were younger.
Stay focused.
Thank you very much.
My advice to young women is to be more independent. I want them to be more independent and try to do things for themselves, so that they could move on in life without looking and depending on other people.
To be a woman, we got to believe, number one, in God and ourselves. And that's the best part, knowing ourselves as a woman.
Education. Education is the key.
One thing that I can tell women, young women is to educate yourself.
The young women today, if you know, they would try to help to bring the children to be an example for the children that is coming in a way to be a good example to the younger ones.
From the very middle of the International Women's Day March, I'm Tony Frederick reporting for the WINN FM News. To end the WINN Weekender, a look at some of the top stories. Escapee shot and killed during struggle with police officers. Businessman worried that roadworks along the Frigate Bay Road will have a major impact on his business. This has been the WINN Weekender. On behalf of the WINN TV News team, I'm Tony Frederick reporting.